Well, people in downtown Knoxville will have fewer parking options starting on Monday. That's when crews will block off parking spots at State Street Garage for its expansion. WBIR 10 News reporter Shannon Smith is live at the garage tonight with the latest on these plans and changes. Shannon?
Hey Beth, this garage has about 1,000 spaces, but when that construction starts on Monday, that's about to cut in half. There's only going to be 528 spaces available, and it's also going to lead to some road closures in this area downtown, as the construction is also going to close part of Central Street between Union and Clinch Avenues for the rest of the year. So in January, South Central Street will open, and crews will then close at least one lane of State Street here by the garage. The good news is that the finished product will bring more parking. The new garage will include 2 new levels to the parking deck. That's going to be 570 more spaces. The $11 million expansion is supposed to be finished by June. As the project develops, there's going to be kind of a fluctuating number of spaces here in the State Street garage. So, make sure as you're coming for events downtown, or allot yourself a little bit more time to find some parking as this project wraps up over the next few months. Send it back to you, Beth.
All right, Shannon, thank you. We appreciate the update.